Okay, so yet another video for you guys. This time we're doing something really fun that, for me as a beginner when I was playing back in the day, this really was a game changer for me. And this is how to get the Drake sword, which is probably going to be a lot of people's first really powerful elemental weapon. So first thing you want to know is that you're gonna need this shortcut, which we unlocked in the last video. So if you don't have this shortcut, check out the butt end of my last video. You're gonna need to defeat the Taurus demon and then have this shortcut, right? You're gonna need to defeat the Taurus demon either way because you're gonna need to get up to the area past him. But once you have this shortcut, you should be able to rest at this bonfire again. And when you do, what you're gonna want to do is, before we go off to try to grab that Drake sword, you're going to want to make sure that you have a bow and arrow. And so you're going to be able to get that really easily from the undead merchant. The undead merchant is going to be right over here. So this is kind of like a rehashing of my undead merchant video. Honestly, these guys don't even matter. Sometimes in Dark Souls, you can just walk past people. They walk so slowly, they're not even gonna hurt you. So we're gonna run over here, talk to this guy. He's gonna have some items for you to purchase. So what you want to do is you want to see if he has a bow and arrow, which he does. Get that. It's 1,000. And if you don't have the 1,000, just grind it up in this area. Grind it. Go back to the bonfire. Respawn everybody. Kill everybody, respawn, kill everybody, respawn. Then you're going to want to get the standard arrows. Yeah, standard arrows. And just don't even get that, you can get, they're quite cheap. So you can get 457 of them with 4,500 souls. But what you're gonna probably want is, let's say 200 of them. I forget how much exactly it takes, but we'll see at the end of this video. But just to be safe, just in case you miss some, because it's definitely possible to miss some of your shots, you're gonna want at least 200. So again, all together you're gonna need 3,000 souls. That sounds like a lot. Don't worry, you'll have it in like 10 minutes. Just like go kill people, go back, kill people, go back, or possibly use some of the souls that you got from your Taurus demon boss fight. Alright, so now we have all that stuff. We're gonna equip it real quick. And then don't forget to equip the arrows as well. You have to equip the arrows, otherwise they won't shoot anything. So do that, you're good to go. Now if you want to make it simple for yourself, just equip it to your main hand. But I equipped it to my side hand because I don't want to lose this axe. These guys moved right out of the way for me, so I'm just going to run all the way back. Now that you have your bow and arrow, you're going to want to use the shortcut that we unlocked and go back to the area that we were just in. In this area, we're going to progress a little bit forward towards the dragon at the bridge. But we're not going to go deep enough that we get to another bonfire. So right here, when you get up to the top of this place, you know, you go up the ladder, you go up these stairs, and then you get to this kind of alcove. There's going to be a door here. This is where we're going to go, but first I want to show you, like, so that you can orient yourself. This is where we are. Right? This is where we left off. And the shortcut brings us here. So right now we're underneath that bridge, and if you peek out to the right here, you can see his tail peeking out. Isn't that hilarious? What that means for us is that we're going to be able to do some damage to him without ever having to initiate a boss fight. Why is that important? Because in Dark Souls, many of the bosses with a tail have a special tail weapon that they drop. And this dragon, this drake, is no exception. So what we're going to do is we're going to get out our bow and arrow. We're going to equip it by hitting the button that it's on. So I hit L1. And then with the opposite button, the button to kind of, let's see, like the button that I'm hitting R1 over here. But one of these buttons is going to shoot the arrow. And this is why it's good to have some extra arrows. You don't want to be running low. So now we come over here, and then what you're going to do, right, is hit L1 on PS4. On Switch, it might be LB, or not the triggers. But you'll figure it out. Basically, one of your trigger buttons is going to zoom in like this. And you want to zoom out when you're walking around, obviously, because it's going to be a danger. But you're going to want to zoom in for this particular thing, because we're going to be going for this long-range shot. And then literally just... Yep, it's going to do that because it's angry. But then it's going to fly back. And honestly, if you get it right, you could probably get that one too. Now here's why you're going to need a couple extra arrows. As you can see, it's swinging back and forth. So it's not the simplest target to hit, but it's not very hard either. You just got to time it right. What I like to do is I'll see it kind of hover outside, and I'll kind of time how long it's going to take to get to the center. So it's right there, then I let it go. It takes a second to get over there. If you miss a few, don't blame yourself. Right now I'm going to try to get this tail. There's another one. He's going to be right here. Get him another one. And then he can't get you because he's actually keeps jumping to the top of the bridge. He has no idea what's happening. So it flicks over there and it's coming back. Now he's here again. I'm gonna hit him again in the tail. Just once. It's okay to take your time. Don't feel like you need to like shoot rapid fire arrows. Just do your best to get the rhythm correct. Usually, when it waves outside of your little reticle here, it's going to take about that much time for the arrow to get over there. So when it hits over here, let go, and usually it'll get really close. And you can play with the timing until you get it. But with enough patience, you'll get it. Guaranteed. And if you can find a place where the tail lines up over there, but it also lines up when he gets closer, that's even better. Because you're going to save yourself time and frustration. See, as you can see, sometimes it's just not going to get it. I'm going to move it over a second. I'm going to wait for the right time. There we go. And just keep chipping away like this. As a matter of fact, now that I see it, like, you could probably line up your reticle with this little green patch over here, and then every time that he moves to the left, let go. It's gonna line up. So there you go. You can also hit him over here too, so it's gonna line up in both places. Just line up your reticle with this little patch of green moss over here, and every time that he moves to the left, let it go. Missed the second one. That's okay. It's gonna take a little couple seconds of practice, but I'm sure that you'll get it. And honestly, it might very well be the last time you ever have to use the bow and arrow. There's lots of great uses for the bow and arrow, but most people don't use it. It's not necessary. It's not completely necessary for the game, let's say. But if you want to use the bow and arrow, it has great purpose when it comes to baiting enemies. So if you see a group of enemies in the distance, and you hit one of them with an arrow, they're not all going to run at you at the same time. Only the one that you hit. That becomes very useful because you can turn it into 1v1s. See, I waited until it started swaying back. It gave me enough time. Of course, I keep missing the second one. Remember to ready your arrows. There we go. Just trust it. See, I didn't trust it. And so I missed it. You gotta just trust the timing of it. Right here. There we go. And another one for when he gets here. Be as patient as you need to be. There you go. So, okay. Earlier I told you to buy a bunch of arrows. The arrows are probably going to last you for the rest of the game, but as you can see, it only took about 40 arrows to actually do the job. So probably you could buy maybe 100 instead of 200 if you wanted to. And that brings down the cost of your a little expedition here all the way down to 3 or 2,000 souls, I think, because you're only really getting like the bow and then 200 arrow or 100 arrows, let's say, and I think you'll have more than enough to get out of reticle. You'll have your Drake sword. I think you'll have enough to do what you need to do, but this thing is no joke. Okay, if you have like if you have the stats to hold it, and the stats are 8 strength and 8 dexterity, which most people have that unless you're doing a deprived build, then you can equip this thing. Oh wait, no, I apologize. So the strength requirement is 16, and that's super important because you're gonna want to level it up if you don't have 16 strength. But with a weapon like this, you're going to be doing so much more damage than the average weapon. And just check out how cool and weird this weapon looks like. It's definitely a sword. It's the Drake sword. It looks all scaly and awesome. So, there you have it. That's how to get the Drake sword. Right now, you're going to swing like this. And that's because your requirements may or may not be sufficient. When they are sufficient, you'll be swinging it just as fast as a short sword or a scimitar. But basically, it works like a short sword. And so now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make it your goal to get to level 16 strength, so that way you can wield this really efficiently. Because this weapon is going to take out most things in one hit. Possibly 2 hits at most. Check out this guy. Look at that. That was awesome. And I'm not even ready yet. If you're not ready, if you don't have 16 strength, you can dual wield it like I'm doing right now. You can dual wield it, and then by dual wielding it, you can actually swing it around and use it efficiently. But it gets rid of your ability to use your shield. You're gonna need to block like this, and this doesn't always do. This doesn't always defend against all of the damage. So some things to think about. But now you have an awesome Drake sword to use for the rest of the game, and you're gonna be taking these guys out in one hit. In one hit. And it should hold you for a little while, but don't hold on to it for dear life. Eventually you are going to find some type of weapon that is better than it. So don't be afraid to switch off. But for now, you have a strong weapon that you can go through the beginning of the game with. I hope you learned something here. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Hope this comes easy to you. Best of wishes. And also leave a like if you watched this and you enjoyed it. Have a nice night. I hope you enjoy your Drake sword.